Against the Ropes podcast.
Contra las cuerdas.
Against the Ropes podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. AtR podcast. Gio Garcia here, alongside Christian Mosqueda. Back for another week. We don't have many left in this year, 2024, Chris, but this might be maybe the most exciting weekend in boxing. We've had a lot of good weeks. Obviously, these gentlemen got it on, in the summer. And now they're going to get it on again. But we can't skip over all the stuff that happened last weekend, Chris. So welcome back to the show. Action-packed once again.
Yeah, Gio, it's a week of upsets. It's a week of high-octane, pound-for-pound kind of action. It's almost crazy to think that they fought this year. So we get two, type of mega fights in one calendar year. So let's get it going, boy.
Yeah, so of course we're going to start with what happened last Saturday in Tijuana. Chris, we got our man Iceman already live on the chat. He says Munguia got knocked the F out. Man, nobody saw this coming. He said the drones are watching. Let me tell you this, though, man. Nobody saw this coming. We kind of skipped over this fight last weekend. We thought that it was going to be a fight for Munguia to shine in his hometown, in front of his people. He had a guy in front of him with only 4 knockouts, even though he was undefeated. Only 4 knockouts, didn't run the biggest risk of getting hurt in this fight. Obviously, as I said, Surace had never fought outside of France. Obviously, had never fought in Mexico. He was coming up from 160 pounds, so everything was really stacked against him. Everything was supposed to go in favor of Munguia. Everything was going in favor of Munguia until he got caught. And we'll dive into it. But Chris, initial reactions. As I said, we kind of skipped over this fight last weekend because we thought it was supposed to be a wash. But man, you never know in boxing. This, to me, definitely upset of the year. And if I dare say, this might be the biggest upset in the last 10 years.
Yeah, Gio, this is cherry picking gone wrong. Again, that curse of the hometown fighter, You mentioned it. This one was a fight that we thought was going to be kind of similar to his previous fight. A non-threat type of opponent, like you said, very low knockout ratio. Those kinds of fighters don't intimidate, guys like a Munguia. So we thought it was going to be an easy win. We thought it was going to be a knockout in favor of Jaime Munguia. Even in the early rounds, a knockdown in favor of Jaime. We thought it was going to go according to plan. And, his opponent flipped the script, in Jaime's hometown, and I agree. Shocker, upset of the year, if easily not top three, top five. So again, it was not written to script, but man, that's what happens in boxing. Perfectly timed shot by a fighter with very low knockout ratio stuns Jaime Munguia.
Yeah, and look, I said the biggest upset in the last 10 years because what upsets come to mind when you think about upsets? Obviously, the obvious one is Joshua and Ruiz, right?
Yeah,
But in this case, Brunello, as they were calling him, Brunello Surace, he had less experience than Munguia. He's younger. He had never fought outside of his country. He hadn't fought in a big fight like this. He was going up in weight. Everything was literally against him. Oleksandr had some stuff in his favor. The experience, the hand speed, things like that. It seemed like Brunello had nothing in his favor, and he was still able to pull it off. And even by knockout, Chris, 4 KOs he had in his 25 victories. He adds his 5th. Got knocked down in the second round. It looked like Munguia was going to finish him off, and in my opinion, Munguia didn't look terrible. He looked composed even when he knocked down his opponent. He stayed composed. He took his time, and he was winning. I mean, the majority of those rounds comfortably. He was getting caught here and there, but watching the fight, I thought, well, this guy doesn't have power like that, so Munguia should be able to put him away or win a comfortable, unanimous decision. Got caught with his hands down, clean flush punch right on the chin. Munguia did get up, to his credit. We know he has a good chin. We know he has that heart. To me, the referee did count a little fast. I mean, when he counted 1 through 5, it was fine. After that, it was very fast, and I was shocked because obviously the fight is in Tijuana. Everybody thought Munguia was going to win this fight. So I was very surprised that the referee counted very fast there, especially from 7 to 8 to 9, and then he just ended up stopping the fight. But to me, he did count fast. But look, nobody's gonna care because this is the ultimate underdog story. As I said, an unknown Frenchman travels to Mexico to fight, one of the biggest Mexican stars, everything against him. If there was 10 people in favor of Surace or supporting Surace in that arena, that would be a big number. Everybody was there for Munguia there in El Estadio Caliente de los Cholos, and you guys saw Julio Cesar Chavez reaction when Munguia went down. He kind of turned, and then the disappointment started to kick in when he couldn't continue. But big ups to Surace. You got to give him credit. He fought through it. He fought through adversity, and then he was happy to get a picture with Julio Cesar Chavez there at the end, him and his pops. And yeah, obviously they went home happy. They're now on the map. They're virtually unknown, but big ups to him for fighting through it. For believing in himself, because as I said, he went down, he got up and kept fighting.
Yeah, no, like you said, Joe, it was, Brunello was giving a good account of himself. Even for us watching the fight, we felt that Munguia was gonna win, but we're like, oh, okay, this kid's got some fight, he's got some heart. When he got dropped, we're like, okay, he's gonna last a couple more rounds. Tough kid, but he's out of his league. He's fighting, away from home. He's fighting, a guy that just went, full distance with Goatnello. So we were giving him a little respect, Joe, but I don't think anybody anticipated, this kid landing a punch from the gods, and that's exactly what it was. You said it before. Munguia has got a good chin. I think he's only been dropped once before by Canelo. I think before that he never had touched the canvas, to my knowledge. So it seemed like Munguia was going to weather the storm. I do agree that was a long count. I counted it back a few times. This ref has somewhere to be, man, because that was a quick count. And in retrospect, maybe it served, Munguia that he didn't take any more punishment, because we know that Mexican spirit. He would have gone up. He would have probably made. If it was a fair count, if it was a regular count, he probably would have, gone up, try to weather the storm. Maybe he gets out, maybe he doesn't. But why pose that risk? You saw how unsteady legs he was. I don't think I've ever, not even with the Canelo knockdown, I don't think I've ever seen Munguia, in that trouble. So maybe it was a good thing that he got counted out. But again, props to his opponent. I like that name Brunello. I think he's earned it. But yeah, again, like you said, outside of his camp, outside of a few people, I don't think anybody really gave him a chance. I read after the fact that he had only, I think, gone the distance, or he's only done a 12-rounder once before. Most of his fights were 8-rounders, 10-rounders. So again, it's just big shocker. I agree. Upset of the year. And for a guy with very little knockout power to land that kind of punch, I joked about it on our chat. It's like Paulie Malignaggi landing a punch and knocking somebody out. So again, it was a right moment, right time. Like you said, hands dropped. If it's right on the money, even if you don't have a lot of power, you land in the right spot, you're out. So again, big ups to Brunello for shocking everybody. We got to put a little respect on his name now for this win.
Iceman says Canelo couldn't knock out Munguia. This looks bad for Canelo. Do you agree with that?
Nah, again, I think this is one of those punches from the gods again. Brunello landed this punch right on the button, right on the money. I don't think if they fight 10 more times, I don't think this happens again. Which takes me to my next question, Gio. Do you think that they run it back? Do you think, they entice Brunello with enough money to run it back, if not in TJ in Vegas?
Well, first of all, yeah, I agree. I think we would all agree that Canelo kind of allowed Munguia to survive. He showed him mercy. But yeah, that was one of the questions that they asked Munguia as he was leaving the arena. He looked in fine spirits. He was saying bye to a lot of people, and then that was one of the things that they asked him. He was like, "Hey, I just got caught. Congrats to him." And then they asked him if the rematch could happen. He said, "Yeah, why not?" But I think everyone's just gonna go home now, enjoy the holidays and all that stuff. But um, yeah, I mean, if you're Brunello Surace, I guess you have to take it. It's another big payday. It's another big opportunity to continue to provide for your family and all that. So I wouldn't be shocked if there's a rematch. Probably not in Tijuana. Probably won't happen in Tijuana, and I don't know if Munguia would want it there either. But yeah, I can see it happening.
Yeah. Do you feel like, yeah, I know fighters always say that they don't underestimate their opponents, but you think he underestimated Saras a little bit?
Yeah, 1,000%. 1,000%. I think he'd be a liar if he said no. We gave all the reasons why. The guy only had 4 knockouts to his name. Hadn't fought out of France. He was coming up in weight. This was supposed to be, let's keep it real. It was supposed to be an easy fight, a very winnable fight for Munguia. So I 100% think he overlooked him.
I don't want to say that I saw signs. I was like, oh, we're gonna get a shocker, because there's certain fights where I'm like, hey, there might be a shocker here. The Bukele one was an example. I was like, oh, we might see something. I didn't expect it in this one. But once you see the fight, I'm like, man, Munguia didn't even get a haircut. I mean, I know he's got that dad bod, but I was like, doesn't look like the best in shape, the most motivated Munguia. Obviously, like different events. When you fight a Saras versus when you fight a Canelo, you obviously could tell Munguia was ultra focused on that fight. He was ultra motivated. He was, fresh haircut. He was like, I'm at the big stage. I gotta be focused. You don't underestimate a guy like Canelo. But yeah, I just felt like this one was very, I don't want to say last minute put together, but not a whole lot of effort in Munguia. It reminds me a little bit of the Tyson, the way when he went to Tokyo, to fight Buster Douglas. You feel like even on your worst day, I'm gonna beat this guy, and that's how she wrote you. Again, big props to Brunello Saras for this huge upset. Again, this one's just gonna, put him in position just to get a huge bag, a bag that maybe he wasn't deserving based on name recognition, Joe. But an upset's an upset, and if you want to run it back, I mean, those agents of him have to get smart with how much they ask in that rematch.
Yeah, I was gonna say the ball's kind of on his court. Hey, you want it back? You better double whatever you paid me last time or triple it. And
Yeah.
I think they can get a little greedy with it. I'm not sure they will, but now let's watch this. Let's watch the KO, man. Let's see if we're able to play it here. Oh, this is not the punch. Let's see if we can find the actual punch. It might be this one here. Well, that's a knockdown there that where Brunello went down. You guys see it there in the second round. He didn't look too badly hurt. He was fine. The punch was vicious. It was a vicious one, but he didn't look awfully hurt. And then here's that KO, hands down, boom, down goes Munguia. And yeah, as you count, let's see if they. He's done. Let's hear that count once again, Chris, because that's what we're talking about here. That fast count, which I was shocked, as I said. You might be right. The referee probably had somewhere to go. When you hear Munguia, they're saying stuff to the referee, but here's the punch again. He's done. Yeah, so quick count at the end. I don't know. Munguia was saying that he was fine. They played some audio there in his corner. I'm not sure who was talking to him, but they were asking him kind of like what happened. He just said that he just got caught, and he said I was fine I was good to continue, but they stopped it. But yeah, this was a shocker. Even watching it live, it was hard to believe. Yeah, I'm not sure we're gonna get another one like this for a long, long time.
Yeah, and again, Gio, Jaime Munguia just fought earlier in the year in May against Canelo. He fought once again. After that, I know the narrative was like he was getting a lot of respect, and I'm one of the ones that gives him respect for fighting, 3 times a year or for fighting 2 more times after Canelo. Because a lot of fighters, you get that much money, Gio, you take some time off. I'm like, dude, I keep you focused to the most of your abilities for a fight like Canelo. You make so much money. A lot of people would have taken the rest of the year off. Let your body recover, let your mind rest, go spend time with your family, go spend time with your loved ones. But to get into 2 fights, that's 8 weeks of camp for each fight. After that, I was giving him a lot of props. But in retrospect, do you think he should have either taken no fights or one fight after Canelo?
Look, he had that fight versus Bazinian, which was a tough fight, and he was able to pull it off. His power came through again, and he was able to hurt Bazinian. Now, Berlanga would say, hey, he messed up the bag. He reacted right away. But I think those are still fights that sell. The Munguia, the Plant fight. Hopefully, Munguia will look for those fights with Berlanga, with Plant, to try to make a bit of a comeback, and obviously to continue making those bags, because his stock does drop a lot, Chris. I think it's going to be so hard to recover from this. You get stopped by a guy who had 4 knockouts. Man, that's not good. That's not a good look. So we'll see how he comes back. But, I'm not too mad at the fact that he fought. I was just getting ready to say that this was a great event for Tijuana. Like I said, it was the Xolos Stadium. The capacity is about 30,000. I'm not sure how good that gate was, but it looked like there was a lot of people there. You saw it at the end. Everybody was stunned. Stadium went quiet. But I thought it was a good event for Tijuana. His homecoming. The last time that I remember him fighting in Mexico was in Monterrey, which is not his hometown. So I thought it was a cool homecoming fight against a guy you were supposed to beat. Obviously, things didn't turn out that way, but obviously, hindsight 2020. Yeah, you can say, man, he probably just rested, but I wasn't mad at that decision. Honestly, I thought it was pretty cool to just have a fight there in front of his people.
Yeah, I think obviously if he would have won, nobody would have complained or said it was a bad idea. For me, it's just I know it's almost like it should have been easy. It should have been a gimme, but free fights, especially when you get that much money, you're not gonna get the same amount of even come close, of making that money with these guys than when you fight a Canelo. I think he should have rested, Gio. I think he should have maybe pushed his fight for early next year. If you want to give love to I understand that point that you bring up, trying to give love to your city, trying to take some tourism, some business to your city. I understand that. I just thought maybe he should have just waited, to early 2025. I know that we've always said these guys don't fight enough, but you know, again, it's just it's a two-edged sword. But yeah, again, does he have to rematch him immediately for him to just get back into? I don't want to say his style goes back up, but just to even be able to sell like Caleb Plant or a Berlanga fight.
I don't think so, man. I think now you rest. I think now, obviously that fight against Bazinian, like I said, that was a tough one. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think if he would have rested, period, hey, nobody would have criticized him for that. He's only 28 years old. This is his second loss. But as I said, this hurts. I mean, you didn't get stopped against Canelo. To get stopped against a guy like Brunello, I mean, it's just not a good look. He's still 44-2, 35 KOs to his name. Very good record. But yeah, I think obviously he's gonna want to get this one back. But as I said, I think he's still a name that sells. But I do think he loses a lot of money because now I don't know if he's the A side, man, because the other guys can say, hey man, you got stopped against a guy who had no business being in the ring with you. So yeah, I think those negotiations get a little tougher. But I don't know. I think he's still very popular. Like a lot of people do like Munguia, right? So I don't think it has to be an immediate thing of, making it happen within 3 months or so. I think he needs to take his time and he posted something I think today or I saw it today at least. He was saying that, the next time you see him in the ring, you're going to see a better version of him. I think that's going to take time. I don't think that's something that's going to happen in 3-4 months.
Yeah. No, I agree that he's gonna have to make a statement in his next fight. Obviously, you get knocked out, you're gonna want to, probably knock out the next guy, and whoever it may be, I feel like a lot of, just this feeling of, I'm sure he feels like shit right now. Again, this is supposed to be an easy fight. This is supposed to be, a gimme. It's supposed to be a homecoming. I mean, this one enters the now the narrative of fighters that have come home and lost in their hometown, fights that should have been easy. Get me a W. Let's move on to bigger and better things. What fights come to mind for you, Gio, off the top of your head, of fighters that went home and either got upset or came up short, or distractions where they didn't deliver?
Well, the ones that we talked about recently was Regis, where he struggled. I think it was against Danilito Sorria. He won that fight, but he struggled. Hometown losses, man. I don't know if any come to mind.
For me, this fighter and one of our favorite fighters didn't lose this fight, but I felt like he lost in the ring. We obviously know he had injuries, but the Maravilla Martinez comes to mind, where he went to Argentina, against a very tough opponent, big opponent, in his British challenger. I felt honestly he came up short, Gio. Even though we know that we're big fans of Sergio Maravilla, I think he got a hometown decision, but I feel like obviously not on paper, but I feel like he lost that one, but was gifted a decision. But again,
Murray, right? Murray.
Hey Murray, there you go.
Yeah, big guy, not the biggest puncher, but yeah, I remember that was an outdoor stadium. How was it, the River or Newell's? I forget where it was, but it was a stadium fight. It was raining, it was slippery, and Maravilla did not have a good time in that ring. Barely pulled it off, according to the judges.
Yeah, I think it was like raining. He was slipping and sliding. I think he had some injuries after like that came out. But yeah, I remember that one. Like, oh, that's a tough fight. And again, we always said this time and time again. People think it's easy to go to your hometown, but you got your friends, you got your family, you got media, you got people trying to pull you in all different directions, businesses, sponsors. That's not the easiest thing, man. I think people think it's easy, but I mean these fighters are people too, and there can be a lot of distractions. But yeah, do we want to claim that Danny Garcia, lost in his hometown? Obviously, Puerto Rico and a lot of Puerto Ricans don't claim him, but come on, he came up short in that one too.
I guess we can give it to him. Puerto Rico wasn't claiming him that night, and he did try to speak Spanish, but it didn't come out very well. But yeah, I think most of us would agree that he definitely lost that fight against Mauricio Herrera. Obviously, Danny was gifted a decision that night. But yeah, I think that's not a bad one to throw out there.
Again, we'll see how Jaime bounces back. I think he bounces back from this one. Again, props to Brunello. He maximized on his opportunity. You know, his bag is going to increase. If he was, I don't know how much he's getting paid, Gio, but I'm guessing it can't be more than 50K. If he was getting paid 20K, you know, 30K, 50K, he can ask for, you know, like you said, double, triple that, maybe 4 times that. But yeah, man, he definitely made a statement. You know, I don't think he wakes up the next morning with power. It was just a perfectly placed punch on an opponent that I agree and underestimated him.
Okay, yeah, I just googled it real quick. Let's see. They have it here. I don't know if this is accurate or not, but I can pull it up. Oh man, get out of here.
If you guys can think of any fights where you know hometown fighters came up short or lost, yeah, be sure to show them on the chat. But again, it's not easy, man. Again, it's not easy. I think that's why a lot of fighters like to fight in Vegas or far away from home. Again, it's less pressure, man. Come on, less
There's
pressure.
Yeah, they're saying Munguia half a milli, Bruno 300K. I don't know if that's accurate. 65-35. That's a close split. Unless they really had to convince Surace to come over here and give him a higher
That's
purse.
that's a good payday, man, for Surace. You know, I would have guessed maybe 100K tops. You know, a lot of these fighters don't get paid a whole lot, especially if they don't have a big following or name. But I mean, they must have. That's a good way to convince you to come to Mexico to somebody else's backyard. 300K. He can easily, ask like you said, ask for 600K next go around. We'll see.
He might bust a Usyk and say, "Nah, I'm getting 70%, boy. I'm better feel."
Very feel.
Yeah, we'll
Heck
look it
yeah.
up. Let's see. We'll look it up throughout the week and see if next week they have something updated. But I'm not sure if that's an accurate number for the purses. But let's go ahead and move on, Chris. I don't have anything else to add other than, man, shocker of the year, and write me in for upset of the year already, Chris. Write it down. You know, especially now with that Inoue fight being postponed. Let's say he was upset by Goodman, right? Maybe that one could have been up there, but that's not gonna happen this year anymore. And I can't remember any other fights beating this one. So write my vote down. We're gonna have that end of the year awards show. I know which one I'm voting for upset of the year for sure.
But this one, another one that's up there is the Tim Tszyu one. But I mean, once you see the history on his opponent, you're like, well, once you do your research, it's not too much of an upset. But definitely up there, Gio. Top three for sure. We're gonna have to go and dig and look at some past fights for our end of the year awards. But yeah, this one's definitely top two.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on, man, because I think the winner of this fight, I don't think it's an upset, honestly. People might disagree with me. We'll look into some of the polls, some of the numbers, but Usyk, Fury, the rematch is all set for Saturday. Saudi Arabia once again. Man, what a great way to end the year. These guys to get it on, it's rare. It's rare nowadays, Chris, to have, the number one and number two guy fight each other, period. To do it for all the belts. Obviously, with this one, with the stripping and all this stuff, not all the belts are on the line, but to have a rematch on the same year, man. Shout out to the Saudis, man. Shout out to Big Turk. Shout out to Riyadh Season. 190 million record purse combined. We'll look into the specific numbers. I think what is Usyk getting? 114, I believe. We'll look up the specific numbers, but record purse for these guys, it's going to be another mega fight in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, no, again, just shout out to everybody that's putting this together, that made it, come to fruition this quickly. I think for such a long time we've had fights that first of all don't get made because the first of all the money's not there. That's one obstacle. There's so many little intricacies that come into play where we don't get them, and let's say when we finally do, maybe it's too late. And if we are blessed to have a rematch, it happens way too late, where it's not as competitive. Just to get them in the 6 month span, knowing what kind of product we got the first time around, you can only expect to get something similar or close to that. So I'm excited for this one. Like you said, it pins the two best heavyweights of this era. You know, Tyson Fury is coming in with true hunger. He's gonna want to try to even this out. This was a man that had not known loss, up until that moment. So he both of these men have the highest of winning mentalities. Both have come through adversity and more than one time, so they have that will in them. So I'm excited for this one, Gio. Again, this one, in my opinion, makes a case for not just the best heavyweight of this era, but somebody that could potentially make top 10 heavyweights of all time. That's something that people can't always say because of weak eras or not enough fighters, not enough dance partners. But this one can solidify somebody into the echelons of the top 10 alongside the Muhammad Ali's, alongside the Joe Lewis's. So I'm excited for this one. I can't wait.
Yeah, they're getting paid a lot more money than those guys, let me tell you. Because as I said, 190 million they're gonna split between these two. All right, where's the split at here? You see some of Fury's career earnings there. Man, where is it? Am I missing it? Anyway, I'll look up the specific number. Chris, what do you want to get into? I know the lead up has been interesting. The back and forth, the face-offs. What do you make from the build up? And then we can get into the purse split after that, and then our official predictions for this fight.
Now, first of all, I'm loving the build up. I love how Tyson Fury's being himself. He's being his vocal self. We don't know him any other way. That's one of his weapons outside of that square circle. He likes to get in your head. He likes to play mind games. We didn't know if he was going to come in heavy. People were thinking he was going to come in more heavy. He was going to use his frame to kind of weather Usyk down. We saw him. He looks pretty trim for a heavy. So I'm loving the build up. Obviously, no shortage of money when it comes to the promotion. Promotion videos was top notch. HBO-esque, Game of Thrones type of feel. I'm excited for this one. Both men are just like they're putting everything into it. And again, I know that there's some boxing pundits that will favor one man over the other, but if it's anything as close as to the first one, Gio, it's going to be truly ultra competitive.
All right, yeah, and then let's not forget the first one was a very competitive one. I think going into this fight, if I'm Tyson Fury, I'm saying, hey, I'm feeling good about this rematch because, that wasn't the best version of me in that first fight. He was goofing around a little bit, dancing around. He said he wasn't as focused, so I'm feeling a bit confident if I'm Tyson Fury saying, hey, it wasn't the best version of me and he barely pulled it off. He needed that knockdown to get the victory, and on the other hand, if I'm Usyk, I'm also going confident into this one because, hey, I know I can hurt that big bloke. I know I can hurt that greedy belly. I'm very feel right now if I'm Usyk going into this one as well. So I think both guys are going to go in there confident into the second fight. Obviously I think advantage Usyk mentally because of that. He knows he can hurt Fury. He knows he beat him already. He knows he can beat him. And Fury's going to have to prove to himself that he can defeat Usyk in this rematch.
Who do you favor in this match, Gio? And off the top, and what do you think the fighter that you don't favor, what does he have to do to have success?
Who do I favor? I don't know if I want to say that because I'd be giving up my prediction. But once again, I think this is a 50-50 fight. I'll go ahead and pull up the poll, Chris, because I already know who I'm picking to win this fight. But this to me was a bit shocking, not gonna lie. So we look at there's that little face off there, Usyk with the gloves looking like a hitman. Tyson Fury looking a little more focused. Look at this poll, Chris. This was posted less than 24 hours ago, but we do have 260 votes in. 70% of the people are saying Usyk. 30% are saying Tyson Fury. And I don't think, this should be as wide as this poll shows. But Usyk is a lot more likable. We gotta say that. Even in England, I'd say a lot of people don't mess with Fury like that. But I'm gonna just drop my prediction. I'm going with Fury again. I'm gonna double down. I think he wins by decision. I don't know if he's able to stop Usyk. I think, he showed in that first fight that he possibly can. Usyk was having a tough time in some of those middle rounds. He even admitted to an uppercut that Fury landed, that he kind of paused for a moment and kind of prayed and kind of realized, oh, I'm good, and then just continue fighting. But Fury can't get to him. I think he's going to be a lot more focused, and this poll made me 100% go for Fury, because 70-30, you guys are crazy if you think this is a 70-30 type of fight. I'm going to go with Fury, but as I said, I think it's a 50-50 fight. I think any man can win.
Yeah, I actually put my vote earlier today, and I saw that 70-30. I was a bit shocked. I think that's obviously too wide, but like you said, there's certain elements of Usyk that a lot of people are going to favor this time around. A lot of the boxing pundits are favoring Usyk, but I do agree that it's closer to 52-47, 53-47 around that mark. I do favor Usyk though. I do believe he's just got that chess IQ. I think of guys like Lomachenko. I think of just the utmost IQ fighters, and they're able to mix with their will. They're able just to figure out their opponents and adjust in those fire moments to come up with the win. I feel like both men do have their things that will bring them success throughout this fight. I just feel like Usyk will have more and more elements to his game. But man, I'm so excited for this fight, Gio. I'm not super confident. I do think any of these guys can win this fight. Tyson Fury, if you look back at that 6th round where he was just using his size and his reach, if he fights that fight, then I can see why you would pick him. If he can stick to a boxing, may not get the knockout, but you keep out boxing an Usyk on the outside, I can see him coming in with the win. But I'm a little shocked that you picked Tyson Fury, but not surprised. But I'm gonna have to go with my boy Usyk. I think he just figures him out. Not completely confident, especially with the money that you mentioned. There's more money to be made if Tyson Fury wins. You can sell a rubber match in that. So if you're going by the powers that be, I'm not mad at your decision. But I think Usyk gets his hand raised on Saturday.
Yeah, and look at the scorecards: 114, 113 for Usyk, 113, 114 for Fury, and 115, 112. So, yeah, Usyk really needed that knockdown to win. So, yeah, I'm shocked at the 70-30 because this was a very close fight. It could have gone either way. It actually did go one apiece, according to the judges, and then that other judge, also gave it to Usyk. But yeah, no, I'm excited for this one. This is pay-per-view, right? I haven't even looked into it. I just know I'm gonna watch it. But
Yeah.
The undercard I know kind of fell off a little bit with Madrimov getting ill. Man, unfortunately, man, he had an illness, Chris. Can you believe it? Man. Or injury. Was it illness or injury? I forget what he got, but of course he has that fight lined up with Virgil Ortiz Jr. So not surprised there. But Bochuk is still going to be on that card. They found a last minute replacement, and then there's an undercard on there. There's a ton of fights on the undercard. Not necessarily the undercard I used to for a Turkey Al-Sheikh card, but hey, we still get a bunch of fights nonetheless. But yeah, I'll be watching this one for sure. And yeah, I think for Fury, I think that loss, I think it lit that fire. I think he might go back to one of those Klitschko performances where he just boxes and makes it boring and uses all the colmillo. I think he can definitely do that against Usyk, who we mentioned so many times. He's not the biggest of heavyweights, so in that first fight, Fury had his success. He was able to kind of bully Usyk around with his size a little bit, but didn't really stick to the game plan. I think if he implements, his boxing, uses his size, his IQ, doesn't start taunting, doesn't, go off the rails, I think this is a fight that's very, very winnable for him, and I can see a third one. And if it's a close fight, I think they give it to Fury this time around too. So that's why I'm also going with him. If these guys are making a combined 190 million, I mean, come on, if you're Turkey, you want this fight to happen again. You guys see there, the first one was a 55-45 split for Fury, who earned 100 million in that first one, and this time around, he's making closer to 75, and Usyk closer to 115. So, great for Usyk, man. Great for Usyk. Let's see, how old is Usyk? Let me look. Let me change this tab. How old are you, Usyk? 37. 37.
Crazy.
But look,
Yeah.
Fury's 36. I'm gonna disagree with one of the comments here. Oops, sorry. I'm gonna disagree with one of the comments here. Nerd says, I'm not excited for this fight. Watching two old men fight. I'm much more excited for Benavidez Morel. Man, I strongly disagree with that take. I think it's disrespectful to put Benavidez and Morel in the same sentence. Even considering they don't even have a real belt, in their division. But hey, making his voice heard, nerd. Let's see. Iceman says Ryan versus Haney was a good upset. He says
That was a good upset. That was a good upset, just based on like what we were seeing and freaking Ryan us taking out for a spin. Oh, give that boy an Oscar for that acting. But yeah, man, that's a good one. It's just because everybody thought that Devin Haney was gonna box him, for 12 rounds and cruise to a decision win. So that's a good one. That one's up there, top 3 for sure.
Iceman says Usyk looked more nervous this time. Chris, did you feel like anything in the build-up kind of helped lead to your prediction, or not really? Were you all set? Did you see anything?
To me, I don't want to say that I thought Usyk nervous, but I think Usyk knows that this is going to be a tough fight. I think he even said that, Tyson Fury is a more, he doesn't punch as hard as AJ, but I think he knows it's the more difficult fight style-wise. I just know Usyk is locked in. He knows he's got a dangerous opponent in front of him. I do think Usyk is the better boxer, but Tyson Fury, still a very high level boxer, has better attributes when it comes to just the physical specimen that he is. The long arms, the huge height. A guy like Usyk has to work harder. He has to implement his game plan more. This is why you saw that knockdown, because he had to take chances. He had to go in there and kind of, play chess in those tight quarters. A guy like Tyson Fury, like you said, Joe, he can make it boring. He could just outbox him from the outside. He can, showboat a little bit, just hit him from the outside, and he can cruise to a decision. There was a lot of those middle rounds where I was like, man, Usyk is just too small for him. It's just he has to work harder to get in and to have success. So, I mean, I think Usyk knows that, it's going to be an uphill battle from round one, and he knows that he's got an even hungrier opponent in front of him because, he was the man that took all his belt, gave him his first loss. Tyson Fury is a proud man, and he's going to want to, even that score.
Yeah, and you talk about locked in, Chris. Fury said, I haven't spoken to my wife in 3 months.
I saw that.
That's how you know he's locked in. Man, he's living every man's dream, huh? He doesn't have to talk to his woman for 3 months. It's a joke. That's a joke. Anyway, but question here. Brady says, what do you think will be Fury's game plan? As I said earlier, I think he wants a boring fight. He wants to take it back to when he beat Klitschko. Even some of the fights with Deontay Wilder, where he leans on you, where he pushes you back, where he kills a lot of that clock, really, grappling, tussling, just using his size to wear you down. I think that's what he's going to need to do against Usyk. You can't just stand there and try to outbox him. I think his jab is going to be his main punch. I don't know if he tries to knock Usyk out in this one. He had some good moments going to the body against Usyk in that first fight. So I think he's just gonna jab, hold, grab, make it boring, and try to win a decision. That's what I think he's gonna do. Do you see it playing out differently, Chris?
Yeah, the thing with Tyson Fury, I think he does have a lot of different game plans he can employ, but I do agree he's gonna be boxing using that reach for the most part. I think of the Deontay Wilder first fight. That fight, I feel like I'm not sure if it was. I don't think it's him. It was more his corner, but a scared kind of fight where Tyson was kind of trying to box him off the back foot, which we saw it happen to be a mistake. The next two fights we saw Tyson Fury take the fight to Deontay, ended up hurting him, knocking him out. That just came from confidence going, and a lot had to do with Freddie Roach going like, could have knocked him out. I don't know why you fought so timid. Let's take the fight to, ex opponent. So I can see him, doing the game plan that you said, Gio, boxing from the outside, using that long reach, that height, using, like you said, his weight around him, just to wear Usyk down. But I could also see him employing some offensiveness, taking some chances here and there. And if he can hurt Usyk, I can see him trying to, finish him sooner rather than later. So I think he's got a lot of, layers to his game. Definitely the boxing one's going to be one of the ones he employs, but I think he's going to take some chances in certain moments, Gio. So what do you think? What do you think he's going to do outside of just boxing?
Yeah, that and what I said, use his size. I think if you're Usyk, you want to do what you did. What was it, round 9?
Yeah.
Those quick hands, angles, defense, smart fight. But yeah, I think this is going to be a very, very tactical battle. And as I said, the first one was very close. So I expect this one to kind of be a little bit of the same. But hey, as I said, if this is a close fight, I think they give the nod to Fury and then they get a third one going on. And they'll probably beat that 200 million mark for that next purse if it does happen, 36 Fury. What was Usyk, 37? So these guys are getting up there. We'll see how much longer they continue to fight for, but they're almost 40 years old. So, I think for both of them, this is probably the most important fights of their career.
Yeah. And let me pose this question, Gio, and this one's a bit of a thinker. We both know that these guys tend to come back in the rematches. They're one of the best. They're one of the best guys that when they come to the rematches, they tend to excel. They do really well. Having said that, who do you think, is going to come better in this rematch? Who do you think it favors? And who do you think is going to implement their game plan better?
I think Fury has had more rematches than Usyk, if I'm not mistaken. Usyk had the Joshua one. Obviously, Fury fought Wilder like 5 times. And Fury, it seemed like, got better and better in each one. So I'm gonna say it favors Fury.
I agree too. I think a combination of the layers to the game, and both of them have mental fortitude for days. Obviously, we know Fury's story, how he was mixed up with substance abuse and all that, and he was able to get himself out of that. And obviously the knockdowns, that can only make you tougher. Just being knocked out by a huge punch like Deontay and getting up and taking the fight to him. I feel like there's moments where Usyk, I want to say his body shots have been one of those moments where I'm like, oh, that's his Achilles heel. So I'm not sure if Tyson Fury will capitalize on that. I think that's one of those weapons that he has in the back of his mind. We've seen him hit Deontay Wilder to the body and break him down. So I feel like if there's something in his back of his pocket is going to be that. So I would like to see how Oleksandr Usyk responds, but I feel like it's going to be, again, a very competitive fight. I want to say again, when you get these two kinds of fights, you don't really get knockdowns, but I do expect to see, one of these guys drop. and pick themselves up. And I want to see how they, weather that storm. But again, it's a extremely tough fight. I was feeling confident before this podcast, Gio. Right now, I think it's closer to 51-49. And yeah, man, Tyson Fury is a bad man. So it's gonna be a tough fight for Usyk for sure.
Yeah, and this is what we have on that undercard. Sergey Boachuk, as we said, with a record of 24-2. He last fought against Virgil Ortiz Jr., lost by majority decision. That was a close one. As you see the scorecards there, one judge had it a draw. The other two had Virgil Ortiz winning by 2. He's going up against Ishmael Davis, who's 13-1. Only 6 knockouts from the United Kingdom. Just a last-minute replacement, Chris. So, not too excited about that. And as you guys see on the undercard, not too many names that we recognize. So, we just hope that, they don't have these halftime shows and they delay the fight. I mean, it's not terrible for us. The fight will probably start around 3 p.m. Pacific, but still. I think in the past, some of those shows have been, well, the main event at least have been kind of delayed. So we have to wait a while for those. Hopefully that's not the case. But yeah, should be a good fight. The last, you can say, big fight of the year with the news of Inoue's fight being postponed to January 24th. Goodman suffered an injury. Correct? Sparring injury, they're saying. A cut. So they had to postpone that. So we won't see Inoue at the end of this year. We'll have to wait until January 24, 2025.
Gio, quick question. What grade level did you give the first fight of Usyk versus Tyson Fury? And what grade do you expect for this rematch?
What grade would I expect for
Yeah. What do you grade that first fight? Was that a B+ fight, A-, solid A plus?
I think the first fight was really good, man.
Yeah.
I'd say it was a B+. I think, I was in England actually when I watched this fight, so the atmosphere is great. People were excited for this fight. We saw ads everywhere in our hotel. When we walked around, we saw billboards. We saw cars with the signs of the poster, buses. So the buildup was definitely there. And yeah, I think the fight delivered. I think it was a B+ fight. We saw, Tyson Fury get hurt, almost knocked out, survived. Ultimately, the scorecards were close, so I'd say a B+. I think this one might be even better. I think the next one might be an A. I can't see these two guys disappointing us in the rematch.
Yeah, for me, I rated it pretty high, a little bit higher than you did. I gave it an A-. To me, that was a very, very good fight. I think it's going to be the opposite. I think for me, I think the first one was so good that this one's it's still going to be good, but I think it's going to be like a B+ status for me. But hey, I could be wrong. They could very much trade knockdowns. Maybe not, probably not, but as long as it gets close to that first one, Gio, I won't be mad. Again, you can't get Gaddy versus Wards, one every single time. But if it comes close to that, man, I'll be happy. And that's exactly what I'm expecting. Again, I see a very focused Tyson Fury. He took that loss on the chin. He congratulated his opponent. He's even said it time and time again. He's like, I felt I won that fight. The judges didn't see it. I'm not mad at them. They're doing their job. Everybody, sees what they want to see. It's subjective. I felt that I won. Now it's just time for me to do the same thing and hopefully get the W. So again, he's a very, very confident man. Usyk, also an ultra confident man. I can't wait for this one. Again, it says 2 winners, man. Again, between them, only 1 loss. Nothing but wins. Best of the era. I can't wait for this one.
Yeah, no, you might be right, especially if I'm right about my Fury prediction. If he decides to just box, it might not be as exciting. So yeah, we'll see, man. This is gonna be a good one. As I said, a little disappointed in that undercard, but I think that main event will make up for it. But Yeah, that's what we got going on. This Saturday, I'm going Fury. You're going Usyk. And obviously, not much left in the year. I don't think I can catch up anymore on the predictions. Uh, but I'm hoping to get this one at least.
Hey man, you're throwing a haymaker again. Most boxing pundits are favoring Usyk. You're taking a chance on this one again. It's a good chance. I think if you're going to take a chance on anyone, a Fury pick is a good one. Again, he's got all the tools to outbox the boxer just because of those long arms. So I don't know if his spirit lets him do that. I think he gets caught in the moment and gets the trade. But we'll see what happens. Again, this is a great fight. It is pitting the two best of our era. And again, the winner, if it's Usyk, I think he makes a claim for top 10 heavyweights of all time. If Fury is able to, level out that score, we get a rubber match. So in the end of the day, the fans are the winners. These two men get, life-changing money. Again, it's amazing that there's a sponsor right now in our time that's putting so much back into the sport of boxing, and we're here for it.
Yeah, and look, I don't think there can be an argument for Usyk not being top 10, of all time if he's able to do it again. Like, yeah, he did it once. It was very close. But if he's able to do it again and prove that he's better than Fury, he just beat probably the biggest heavyweight star that we've seen, Chris, physically.
Yeah.
6'9", 280 pounds. Sometimes he's 300. Literally, physically, this is the biggest, top heavyweight we've ever seen.
Yeah.
So, they're going to start comparing him to other guys. Oh, well, look at Foreman. Look at this guy, look at that guy, because all those guys were solid heavyweights. Of course, Usyk came up from cruiser. So I think that's the argument for a lot of people. Oh, he might be too small. Hey, he just beat the biggest heavyweight, of our era 2 times if he's able to do it again. So, yeah, I don't see how there won't be an argument for him not being top 10 all time. Obviously, I still think he has a couple more fights left, but if he's able to do it again, on his resume, he's going to say 2 wins against Fury and 2 wins against Joshua. Those two are top 3, top 4 heavyweights of the past 10 years.
So Gio, just 7 years ago, we were trying to find out who the best heavyweight of this era was post Klitschko, and obviously the 3 biggest names at that time, prior to Usyk moving up, was Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, and Deontay Wilder was, trying to convince us with this punching knockout ratio. So there was never a talk of an Usyk. What Usyk has done, the last 5 years, jump, not just unified in his own division in the cruiserweight division, but jump up and beat these guys that he was never supposed to beat. There was that narrative like, oh, he's too small. He struggled with the Witherspoons. He struggled with these other guys that are not even top 10. How is he going to do against these top 10? He's going to get knocked out. Not only has he not been knocked out, he knocked them out. He's hurt them. He's cemented his place. He's shown his skills that they transitioned to the heavyweight division. He's made a case, in my opinion, for the best heavyweight of this era. And then if he does it against Tyson Fury again, I think he makes, like I said, that case for top 10. Not top 5 yet, but top 10 for sure. And to your point, yeah, if he wants to crack the top 5, a few more fights to go with some other names that are in and around that division that are also chasing greatness. But for me, he makes a case for top 10. He's going to be mentioned there with the Muhammad Ali's, the Lennox Lewises, with the Joe Lewises, with the Evander Holyfields. Again, it's an elite list, and it's not easy to get to that one. But if you knock off a guy like Tyson Fury a second time, you make a case.
Is he the undisputed number 1 pound for pound king if he's able to defeat Fury again?
Number 1 pound for pound? I think so.
Yep.
I think so up until, what have you done lately, number 2s and number 3s. But to knock off that giant twice, and if he does so convincingly, yeah, I think so. I think he makes a consensus for number 1. Well, what do you think, Gio?
Yeah, I think so. Right now, I have Inoue as my number one, but obviously, or I think I had Arthur up there too, contingent on what was going to happen in December. Inoue unfortunately drops out, or his opponent dropped out. So I think right now Usyk might be holding that crown. Um, and look, let me tell you this: if Usyk is able to win, this guy here, obviously, if he's able to get through Joseph Parker, Daniel Dubois, I'm sure is going to be waiting for him. He has one of the belts. He has the IBF that Usyk was stripped, and shortly after beating Fury. Daniel Dubois stopped Anthony Joshua to obtain that belt. He's now going against Joseph Parker on that February 22 mega card. And if he's able to get through Parker, I'm sure, there's only one opponent that he's going to be looking at. And then, especially if Usyk is able to retain those belts, that becomes an undisputed fight. So, yeah, I think there's still going to be people out there waiting for Usyk if he's able to get through this challenge.
And let me ask you this, Joe. Maybe jumping a little bit of the gun in the award show. If Usyk does defeat Tyson Fury, is he your fighter of the year, or do you think there's other guys that can vie for that position?
I think so. I can't think off the top someone else who had a better year.
Yeah, I agree. I want our war show to be a little bit more competitive. I'm hoping we get such a fight again. Obviously, my pick is Tyson Fury, but I mean, my pick is Usyk, but if Tyson Fury is able to, somehow, submit himself and get a W, I will definitely welcome a rubber match again. This is a great time for heavyweights, and so, the more fights we can get, the more money they can get in their accounts, the better the sport will be. So again, even though 2-0 looks nice, I would love to see a rubber match. Those are the kind of fights that become instant classics.
Yeah, and let me tell you this: if Fury wins, then yeah, we're gonna have a tough time, I think, deciding the fighter of the year. I think if Usyk wins, I think that might be a hands down. But if he loses, yeah, we might have some thinking to do.
Hey man, that's gonna be our homework again. Make it hard on us, Tyson. Again, I have my pick, but I like to be shocked. I love to see great fights, Gio. I like that back and forth. If we could get a rubber match, just based on how competitive these two are, I would welcome it. Again, I'll take an L on the score sheet, but just give us some classics, man. That's what the fans want.
Yeah, man. Anything else before we get out of here? Been on the air for about an hour.
Yeah, let me ask you, Gio, are you making anything about this Benavidez Morel little tussle that they had earlier today?
No, not really. I went straight to the comments and it was hilarious. It was crazy, scary, spooky, hilarious. Nah, people were saying, "Oh man, this fight is heating up." They're selling us that Stream East stream. They were saying, "Yeah, man, can't wait for this. Can't wait to stream this illegally." That's what most of the comments were saying that I saw, at least. So, yeah, I don't know. They're trying. They're trying, but yeah, WWE.
WWE status. Yeah, not for me, Gio. Again, we said it again. I think it's a little too soon for Morel to take on a Benavidez, but I think of Benavidez, he's a little bit old school. If somebody gets in his face and wants to fight, I don't think he's going to care too much if they have not enough experience. If it makes him money, if he gets to hit somebody and punch him in the face, he's going to do it. So it's a little bit of a throwback for me. I kind of enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm buying a little bit into it. I know obviously some of it they got to hype it up a little bit, but I'm liking what I see. He threw the belt at him. He missed, but I like the entertainment factor on that. So I'm here for it. Can't wait for that fight. I'm still favoring Benavidez. The experience is just palpable on his end, but I know Morel's a good fighter. He's got the size. He's got some good power. So we'll see what happens. Like we saw with the previous fight, Gio, if he lands one clean punch, it changed the outcome and the narrative of their careers. So yeah, man, can't wait for that one.
I did like the throwing the belt move. I thought that was cool. I don't think I've ever seen it before. I thought that was pretty
Yeah,
cool. And those things are heavy too. So I don't know if that was the smartest move, if it connects, but I thought it was pretty cool.
whose belt was that?
That was
Uh,
Morel's. That,
Morel's belt.
that was the junior belt.
It's just the
It
interim
wasn't a
belt.
real belt. It was one of the junior ones. So it wasn't that big of a deal, I guess.
I know they wouldn't be throwing that green belt if it was a green belt. That's not the belt you throw. But hey, if it's an interim, man, it's a recess belt. I don't know. Too many
Yeah.
belts.
Benavides cared about his junior belt. He handed his junior belt to his homie next to him, and then he pushed Morel. And then that's when Morel threw his junior belt at Benavides.
So yeah, man, that's when I see somebody throw a belt, man. Shoot, they're losing value,
Hey,
man. I know that. I
man.
back in the day, you wouldn't see nobody throwing their belt
No.
around, man. But
Not even my mom used to throw the belt, Chris. She used to throw the chancla, she used to throw the control, her high heels, everything, but the belt was always on the hand, you know? So that's a new one. I've never seen that one before.
yeah, Gio, have you heard about this rumor going on that Turkey is looking to make one belt per division? Have you heard about this?
I did. And I thought part of him buying Ring Magazine kind of was for that too, because he mentioned that he wanted to make Ring once again the most respected belt. So I thought that was kind of part of that move. But I did hear about that. I also heard that um, they were doing all the scannings for him to be in the Undisputed video game, Chris. I'm not sure what he's going to be doing in the game. I'm not sure you're going to be able to fight with him, but I saw a post about that on the Undisputed page. This guy's
I didn't hear
everywhere.
that's news to me. That's a good one, man. Again, I think it's hard to solidify one belt per organization unless you outright buy them.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Which, hey,
And
these guys have been around for a long time. WBC, WBA, like they've been around for a long time. So I don't know if they'll buy into that literally, but hey, you never know, man. This guy's out here offering a lot of money.
yeah, again, it's like a company. The only way you can take it is if you buy them. I mean, that one he bought the ring, so I don't know how much these governing entities are worth, Gio. I don't think anybody knows how much they're worth. It's not like it's not like an NBA team or a soccer team where their value. Nobody really knows how much these guys are worth. But if anybody can buy them, it's Turkey. So I can see
Yeah,
it happening if that happens. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But that I wasn't sure if you heard about that rumor.
yeah, and I don't know if he would even have to buy them. He might even write in part of his contracts like, "Hey, you can only fight for this sanctioning body, which is mine." Meaning you're not fighting for that organization. You're not fighting for those belts anymore, right? And that's how you kind of make them disappear a little bit. And then he'll probably get a lawsuit for that. I don't know, but kind of like the MMA with like UFC, only those guys are able to fight for the belt. If you're signed for another, I guess, company, you only fight for those belts. So that's one way to go about it. I don't know. I don't know what his mind is, but he has a ton of money, so I'm sure the possibilities are endless.
Yeah, no. Again, that's something I would welcome. Again, I think years and years ago we've said the only way to fix boxing a little bit is to have one governing body. But I mean, it looks like that might be going towards that way. Only time will tell. But for now, man, at least we have a huge sponsor in the sport, and I mean that's getting us some of the best fights we've seen in years. So, fight in February, huge fight. We're gonna see if we can make it. No promises, but that's a huge, huge fight that Turkey's putting together. And again, hitting two of the best in their division in their rematch. So I mean, somebody's making it happen. Just looking at Boxrec in that card, Gio, I saw all the promotions, the De La Hoyas, the Eddie Hearns, the Queensberry. Like I've never seen so many
Yeah.
names like in one. So it's amazing to see. And again, as long as it favors the fans, we're here for that.
Sponsor us, Turkey. We're looking for a sponsor. We're here.
Hey, as long as you get us, man, tickets to the fights, we cover them. Let's go.
Bro, where's my WBC bill? I will remove it from the background and never speak about it again. If that's what it takes.
But yeah, man, I mean, that's all I got for you, Gio. Again, huge fight this Saturday. Can't wait for it. It's putting the two best, and hey, let the best man win. Let's go.
Morel got a big head, says Iceman. He also adds that he's never seen Benavidez act this way, pushing his opponent. So, yeah, I think he mentioned that the one fight he took personal, I suppose, was the Plant one, right?
Yeah.
A lot of history behind that one. They had brawled in the gym years ago, and they finally got it on, and then it was all respect at the end. But we'll see how this one. It is an interesting fight. I think they're just gonna need a lot to sell it. I think who's on the undercard? Pitbulls, is he on that one? I don't remember, but or Rayo, I think. I don't remember. It might be both of them, but yeah, we'll have more time to discuss that card as we get closer to it. Right now, it's all Usyk, it's all Fury in this championship round of December. Should be a great fight. This is technically undisputed, Chris. This is going to be the best current heavyweight, whoever is going to win until something else happens. You know, maybe until the third fight happens, or until Usyk continues to stack up those W's. You know, there's going to be some guys waiting out there, so should be interesting and exciting. And we'll be back next Tuesday to talk all about it.
Yeah, and again, 2 weeks from now, award show. I think, Jill, you're gonna have. I think maybe a week before the last episode of the podcast, you'll put some of the awards, some of the nominees, yada yada yada, and we'll see who ends up winning this year. But again, good upsets this year. Shout out to the chat for reminding us of a few that happened early in the year. Again, some huge knockouts. We're gonna do our homework as well to see who is fighter of the year. We'll see if Usyk and Tyson make our job a little bit harder, after this Saturday. But yeah, man, can't wait for that award show 2 weeks from now. Let's go.
And that's it, man. Thank you guys for keeping that chat lit. Somebody check on Big Bro, man. That guy, that guy had perfect attendance all year up until now. He almost got the perfect attendance award. He almost got the perfect attendance award. Almost.
Iceman becoming the new Mad Dog, unless he's big as a cow, man. Iceman coming in with the with the best messages. Nerd, I know Nerd took a few L's earlier today, but I mean it's all right, brother. Get up, take that 8 count. Check the ref if he's counting too quick, man. Be like, hey man, count slower, bro. Hey, shout out to Jaime Munguia. I know Amir Khan was a big fan of him. It probably hurt him to see his friend lose, but hey, shout out to Jamie. We'll know he'll bounce back.
Hey, very nice guy too. We've had the pleasure of meeting him and doing ringside commentary with him here in the LA area. So he's a super nice guy. But yeah, he's gonna need a lot of improvements on defense, man, because he's still an exciting fighter and he's still popular, as I said. But yeah, man, that's all we got for today. We hope you guys enjoyed the show. Shout out to Iceman for always coming out swinging, man. This guy's coming out swinging. We appreciate it. We'll be back soon, guys. As we said, man, take care. Peace.
Oh, vámonos. Very feel.
Very, very feel. Let's go, mates. Let's go.
Oh. Where's Big Bro?
Greedy belly.
Hola amigos, soy Juan Francisco Gallo. Quiero mandar un saludo para mis amigos de Contra las Cuerdas. Échenle muchas ganas. Un abrazo.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. You know what mine is? Let's box, bitches. It's almost fight night.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. Thank you for the support. Keep doing your thing. You're doing a great job. So thank you and best wishes.
You huge shout out to Against the Ropes.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. Thank you guys for the interview, and hope to see you guys soon.
Against the ropes, always doing the right thing.
Shout out to Against the Ropes, man. I appreciate you guys for having me, taking the time out y'all day.
Against the Ropes, #1.
Freddie Roach.
Thank you very much.